Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of The Way I See It. My name is Chris. Um, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about distractions and the way I look for solutions for this distraction. So first, we'll just start out with the idea of what is a distraction. To me, the way I see what a distraction is it's usually something that comes out of nowhere that usually has like very little value to anything in my immediate future. So if I am, trying to read a book, I would want to make sure that distractions are like maybe my phone ringing while I'm reading a book. Maybe there's something on TV, or a lot of things have to do with the phone. It also could be, people around you wanting your attention. So it can also be something in my mind that will come up. That's like, hey, Chris, go make a sandwich, or hey, Chris, why don't you go ahead and check that email, And listening to Cal Newport's I listened to the audiobook, and I'm also trying to use the Kindle app to kind of find some. It's like you can use the Kindle app to find different things that they're talking about, and then like create these little like thumbnails or pictures, or you can share with people on social media. So Cal Newport, he's basically the author of Deep Work. He kind of come together with this book that talks about how to achieve deep like knowledge work requires deep thinking. And then he brings up a whole bunch of examples of like other people who are also trying to achieve deep work. And he also talks about how it is the rarity of people not having deep work. For instance, he talks about how distractions are kind of like a known thing, and being able to be distracted or not focusing on deep work for long periods of time. His form of deep work is the idea that you may spend like 3-4 hours, focused on things on one particular topic in a room that's usually closed off. One thing I liked about it is that I've already tried to put that together in my own house. I have like a nice walk-in closet that I used for my clothes, but I also use it for meditating, sleeping, writing. It's very good I've noticed that enclosed space where sound around me is not necessarily changes too often allows me to focus more on what's going on in the room. And I don't know, I really think that the idea also comes from, what do you call it again, the idea of like maybe working inside a classroom that's really quiet, or maybe in a park, So today I want to just go back to the book where he talks about something called a eudaimonia machine. Not to get too fancy with it, I'm still reading the first couple of chapters. I'm only maybe 3 chapters in. And the eudaimonia machine is a machine that's actually used by another person, not by Cal Newport, but he talks about how you achieve this mind, this like deep thought in this by changing your environment to help activate your processes that you're trying to, your thought processes. He brings up that if you are trying to think of something, a solution to something, that sometimes it's not good to just sit in one spot to do it. Walking, usually people do long walks, or they usually will brush their teeth, or they'll be in the shower. You usually are doing, when you're thinking about something else, this type of thought process helps you come to solutions. He also says that remembering things and being able to put things together, you can like lay them out in your house or in your surroundings. And he also utilizes Carl Jung. Carl Jung is he's from years ago. He wrote a few books about philosophy. He's influenced by many people. His I know that his mentor, or his mentor or his master, basically the person he's influenced by was Sigmund Freud. And in order for him to be able to distance himself from Sigmund Freud, he had to do this huge changes in his environment in order to achieve, be able to have an intellectual, what do you call it? Cal Newport says, is in having intellectual battle with Sigmund Freud and his followers. So you don't have to get that far with it. You know, what we're here for is building a business, right? And one thing about building a business is focus. And I'm always looking for focus. And the algorithms that I use to buy my books, to search for content online, to send emails and whatnot, are all gathered to the mindset of the person within you. And when it comes down to distractions, you don't want to have any distractions. And I think it's okay, though, to have some distractions. When I first started, what I want to basically talk about, what would you actually do to actually defend against distractions? I usually lean towards them back and forth as I move towards the different things I'm looking to get done, followed by a set of rituals. Like I talked about in the last video, the morning rituals, being able to have a set of things that you do every day that aren't blocked at all, you know. And when you use these set of rituals to get your work done, you'll be able to build a mindset of a person that's trying to, you know, approach deep thought, deep intellectual thinking, deep intellectual focus. And then every day you can probably add a little bit more and more time to it. I feel like it is a battle, because you're gonna have to also have people around you who also approve of you doing this. So if you're at work, your managers may not necessarily like you focusing on your deep thought, unless like what the value you're gonna bring to the team or to the company is worth it. I also feel that it's also great to have this level of deep thought when you're trying to start making out what content for your business or content for your career. You know, I think that we should find time to say no to the outside environment and yes to the things that are good for us, and really being able to focus on those things. I'm actually really believing that it's probably going to be a good thing for people to have what we call like how some professors have something called sabbatical, where they usually leave school and they usually work without pay, where they're like either going to finish their degree or they're going to write a book or they're going to do something, and they need to kind of focus on it. We need to be able to have that in our own lives, and we can write our own books, our own content, our own thesis that we actually put out to the world. And what you're doing is that you're actually focusing more on creating, and then when you produce these mindsets that you're trying to accomplish, you create these mindsets, you can produce the content. You utilize your peers will be the people around you who are also consuming your content. So in other words, you actually utilize the mindset of a university professor, or someone that's trying to get their PhD. We will listen to how they think, and we will become more of a, how would we basically say? We will become more of a academic or a scholar, you know, when it comes out to solving the problems in our lives. So I have to leave it at that. You know, I'm not going to go too far, but distractions, you know, if you have a distraction and you want to basically focus on it, you're going to have to actively work towards removing those distractions away from you. And that, I'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot, and see you guys in the next video.
Natural drawings, but even as a plan, its potential to support impactful work excites Dwayne. This design remains, in my mind, the most interesting piece of architecture I've ever produced, he told me. In an ideal world, one in which the true value of deep work is accepted and celebrated, we'd all have access to something like the eudaimonia machine. Perhaps not David Dwayne's exact design, but more generally speaking, a work environment and culture designed to help us extract as much value as possible from our brains. Unfortunately, this vision is far from our current reality. We instead find ourselves in distracting open offices where inboxes cannot be neglected and meetings are incessant. A setting where colleagues would rather you respond quickly to their latest email than produce the best possible results. As a listener of this book, in other words, you're a disciple of depth in a shallow world. This rule, the first of 4 such rules in part 2 of this book, is designed to reduce this conflict.